So I got a few books back from CGC. Now, expectations are pretty low on these because when I got this batch in as raw copies, they weren't as nice as I thought they would be, and they had defects on them that were not pressable or cleanable or whatever. So I was unable to bump the grades up as much as I had hoped, but I went ahead and submitted them anyway. There was a couple mid-grade in here. There's some lower high grade, if there's such a thing, right? So let me go ahead and get these unboxed and we'll take a look. Okay, so the first book is G.I. Joe number 21. This is the silent issue. Now, this year I'm trying to expand my horizons a little bit. I've kind of focused a lot on the 80s stuff and McFarlane stuff and a lot of Spider-Man, maybe some X-Men thrown in there. So I'm trying to get some variety in my diet. So yeah, I've been trying to pick up some keys that I normally don't buy. So if you haven't read this one, you should, there actually isn't any words in it, but you should look through this book. This is an awesome story. Very, very cool book. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Very, very glad I bought it. But it had some kind of major damage right here, like a giant, almost looks like a printer's crease. It's hard to describe. It's right here. And yeah, I didn't see it in the pictures, and when I got it in, I kind of underestimated it. I thought this was about an 8.0 when I got it, but it probably wasn't even that. That's an old note. It probably was more like a 6.5 with that, I would guess. And I'm hoping I got it up to an 8.0, but my grading tool barely had it as an 8.0. So it could be a 7, could be a 7.5, could be an 8. I mean, somewhere in that range I'm fine with, but you know, but this is a good one because this is quite significant right here. And it has some other problems, lots of ticks. So I'm just curious, what is CGC going to grade this book? Because we're going to learn something from this. So let's go ahead and see what CGC thinks, because that's really all that matters, right? Another one of these. This boggles my mind how this book is a 9.2. Unless this is a common thing. There is no way this book is a 9.2. No way. I didn't even try to fix the spine that much because I didn't see a point because I thought we were capped on this. Look at that. I mean, that is giant right there. It's like here and then over here as well. And I think this is an 8.0 on the best possible day. I don't see how this could possibly be a 9.2. There's no way. I mean, I don't want to belabor the point here, but this reminds me of that Amazing Spider-Man 328 that had some, what was the major damage that was on that book? I can't remember exactly what it was. But it had no business being a 9.2, and that's what it got. I've got 9.0s, 8.5s, 8.0s that look infinitely better than this book. So this is one I've got to question. How this is a 9.2, because even without this, it's not a 9.2. That's this book. I mean, they're the experts, like I say, but so this is a curious one. I mean, I'm interested to see what the other grades are now. What did my 9.0s get? 10.1? I mean, okay. Let's move on to the next one. You guys, let me know in the comments what you think of that, because this book looks better on video, I'm sure, than it does in person. So I got another classic book, X-Men 95, early appearance of the new X-Men. Kind of a busy cover, a lot going on there. But yeah, great book, and a lot of people want this in their collection, so it's got a little bit of value to it. This is a mid-grade copy. I thought it was about a 7.0 when I got it, and I'm just hoping 7.5 might be pushing it on this book, but I think I'd be happy with a 7.5 on this book. But yeah, anywhere 7.0, I mean, what's it going to get based on another book? I can't even wait. I just got to look. It's just, okay, 8.0. That's a stretch. I think it's a stretch. But you know, my grading is pretty conservative. So, I mean, that's not crazy. I mean, I can see it getting an 8.0. I'm extremely happy about that 8.0. This is a good grade for this book. This is a strong grade, 8.0. So I bought a couple lots of Spawn, and I've just been submitting them out piecemeal, not all at the same time. There were some that I thought were obvious 9.8s and some that were kind of pushing it for a pre-screen. I did pre-screen a bunch recently and did pretty well on those, but this one here, one of these two is an obvious 9.8, and one I had down, there's another one coming up here that I had down as a 9.4. So I'm not sure which is first. So, you know, we'll see if we got our higher grade one or our lower grade one. Okay, so we got the 9.8 one, which means this one should be the 9.4 one. Next one. I did very well on that lot. It was pretty inexpensive, and I've gotten just 9.8s on all of them I've submitted so far, I think, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, I won't, waste your time here. Let's see if this also got a good grade. Okay, so 9.6, I was expecting 9.4. Probably not worth submitting if you think you're going to get less than 9.8. I don't think this book has enough value, but, I've submitted a couple of these that I thought were 9.4s in that pre-screen, and I got the 9.8. So, certainly happy to get a 9.6 on this book. Now, the next one is a really, really cool one. I pick these up anytime I see them. It's not the book itself, although obviously this is in my wheelhouse. I love this era for Amazing Spider-Man. The stuff just before McFarlane, I like it just as much, just about, as the McFarlane stuff. So this is the one where Peter Parker proposes, but let's look at the label here real quick. Mark Jewelers insert. And this book is exceptionally nice for a Mark Jewelers. It's very, very hard to find these in high grades for obvious reasons. They're newsstand. They were sold on military bases around the world. Most people would take these and they'd read them in the field or wherever they were at, stuff them in a backpack to travel the world, that type of thing. So it's very hard to find these in ultra high grade. This one is not like 9.8 candidate, nothing like that. But I did have it as an 8.0 when I got it in. It was pretty rough. It was loved in its lifetime. But I thought I was able to get it up to a 9.2. So we're hoping anywhere 9.0 to 9.4, we would be very, very happy on this book. So let's see. Okay. That's the highest Mark Jewelers I think I've ever gotten. So extremely happy about that. That's top end above the top end. So I think I got a little bit of a loose grader this time, which doesn't hurt my feelings, but I'm a little bit conservative, but 9.2 is what my grading tool and myself thinks on this book. So for those of you following this channel, I'm pretty conservative, so this tends to happen a lot. I don't really want it to happen like this. I mean, it feels good, but it's not really. I want to be accurate. I don't want to just be, oh, this is an 8.0, and every time it's a 9.0. I want to be like, this is a 9.0, boom, it's a 9.0 or a 9.2 or something like that, right? So let's get pleasantly surprised about maybe as often as we get disappointed. I mean, once you unbox about 100 of these, I'm not through the roof anymore on books. I do get surprised occasionally, but, definitely some calibration in my own head has to happen because CGC is a lot looser of a grader than I am personally. I was raised on the Overstreet stuff, which I think is quite a bit pickier on their grades than CGC is. So yeah, I've got to make the adjustment, not CGC. Man, that is a gorgeous book. Gorgeous book. I don't know why they have to put newsstand here. I mean, it's obviously all Mark Jewelers are newsstands. It's a little bit redundant, but that's fine. I mean, whatever. But yeah, that's beautiful. I might hold on to that for a while. And last but not least, I have a couple books that I tend to pick up. You've seen this one a lot if you watch this channel, Infinity Ink 14. First published cover art by Todd McFarlane. So as things stand right now, I can't imagine this book ever going down in value. This would be a great one to do signatures on if you're into that. I'm not into that unless I have him. I might, if I ever meet him, I might have him sign the slab. I'm not a big fan of sending books off to somebody you're never going to meet and having them sign a book. Why are you doing that? And the whole point of signatures is the experience of meeting. Anyway, I won't rant on that. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. I know I've asked that question before in the past, but for those of you that haven't watched my videos, it's a good question. How do you feel about signatures? Completely against it, kind of neutral, or do you love them? Do you really, really, really can't just wait to get signatures on all of your books? I'm not, now don't get me wrong, I'm not like upset that anybody does it. It's your book. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's just not for me. And I'm never going to get mad that somebody did it. And unless somebody like told somebody to like draw a butt on their book or something like that, I would, okay, that's a little bit strange. But so I had it as a 9.2 when I got it in, but unfortunately I wasn't able, there's a couple defects on it that I wasn't able to do anything with. And so I think my max grade on this is probably 9.2. So got it in as a 9.2, but I didn't pay that much for it, so it's fine. So a 9.2 is okay. I'll break even or make a little, lose a little, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, let's see what CGC thinks the grade is on this. It looks beautiful from here, so let's see what they think. Okay, we're once again way top of the range. Never would have dreamed I would have got a 9.6 on this book. Okay, I put in my notes there lots of thumb bends. somewhere in the book that I guess left color breaks maybe. And maybe that's the reason I thought it was capped at a 9.2. I can't see them standing here. The lighting's not great in here, so maybe if I can't find them quickly, maybe they are pretty negligible. So, you know, once again, I'm a little bit harsh. But yeah, I'll take that all day long. 9.6 when I was expecting 9.2. That's a good day. So the last one is, once again, one of everybody's favorite covers, right? One of mine for sure. I've got a 9.8 here in the book. One of my favorite books in the world right there. And oh, by the way, The Punisher. I put it on the wall today because I sold it. I sold it for basically what I bought it for. I was hoping to CPR it, but there's some rust migration on the from the staples. And I've researched it. It really does not come off. The best you can hope for is to fade it a little bit, but it tends to fade the color too. And so that would not be a good candidate for it. And it looks maybe like it might be a little bit brittle around those staples. So I'm not touching it. There is no way I'm going to chance damaging this book. No way. So I lost a little bit of money because of fees and all that stuff, but I'm okay with that. I need to free up the money to pick up some more books to work on. So, I mean, I could hold that long term, and I'm sure I could eventually make a profit on it. But it's just not feasible for me to hold on to a book of that value right now. I'd much rather use that $2,000 or whatever to put into some more books for me to work on. And I do have a budget, so yeah, it'd be nice to have unlimited money to do whatever I want. So I entertained maybe going for trades on that, but I just wanted to go ahead and get the money so I can go ahead and I want to do some more buying right now is basically what I'm doing. I'm trying to buy a bunch of 9.4s and 9.6s to CPR and see what we can do. Just kind of I'm kind of putting together a spreadsheet that kind of helps you pick what your bids should be. So basically what you should be paying and not, so you don't overbid or whatever. So it kind of takes all the fees into account, the taxes, all that stuff. So last but certainly not least, as I said again, one of my favorite books of all time, and I bought it as a slab. So it was a 9.0 when I got it. And I thought maybe it could be a 9.4, 9.6. Obviously I'm not making a killing on that, but anytime I think I can get a significant bump like that on a reasonably high dollar book, you know, this is not dirt cheap. This is a stretch for a lot of people and certainly is for me as well. So I'm hoping, my grading tool says it's a 9.2, so I'm hoping for at least a 9.2. CGC, if you're ever going to err on the high side, please do it on this book. So let's see what they think. Okay, man, this guy got off on a kick. So 9.6 has quite a bit of value on this book. So yeah, cracked it, 9.0, turned it into a 9.6. So I've got a whole bunch of unboxings that I'll be doing coming up soon because I was trying to beat the deadline on the prices going up. So I submitted a ton, maybe 30, 40 books in the last month. So I did them in 5 to 7 to 8 books, something like that. So I'll be getting submissions in every third day, every fourth day, something like that. So you can expect basically once or twice a week I'm going to be doing an unboxing. And I hope they're all as fun as this one because this is awesome. This is why we are in this hobby. So yeah, once again, I didn't expect this today. I had very low expectations for today, but somebody actually asked me in the comments, do I slip a $50 bill into the books when I submit them because I usually do pretty well on these unboxings. And yeah, if I knew that worked, I might consider doing that, you know. Yeah, we got to avoid the shady stuff though, but that was pretty funny. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Stay nerdy, and I'll see you in the next one.